Artificial intelligence, machine learning is what I think a lot of people believe on sci-fi videos. It's not really the true nature of what that actually is. It's around trying to use this to set parameters and train intelligence to machines to really take a large census of information and try to make rational decisions out of, which obviously can be subjective depending on how well that machine is trained up, and trying to also prevent bias in AI is probably one of the most challenging aspects. In the last few years, we've seen so many SaaS solutions and so many field services solutions on the market. So this has probably been the first wave of trying to introduce digital into construction. So now, because we've got such a large volume of unstructured data, trying to leverage AI, machine learning has a huge benefit where it allows you to start to build dashboards and reports and intelligence and predictably trying to look at where, to mitigate whether it could be safety issues on a construction site or defects is another one. So, we've clients that we've worked with around the management of defects is something that we've looked into unstructured data and built up predictive reports to look at some of that information and best help engineers on a construction site. Look, we're seeing machine learning scan large volumes of, for example, architectural diagrams on a site, and being able to look at that and to use image recognition to help predict the construction, defects or issues or faults. So it's able to match that up against what's actually been built. So we're seeing a lot of these type applications being used, and pretty exciting developments in the roadmap. So the barriers with AI, so I see the big thing as being the cybersecurity, mainly around trying to enforce cybersecurity because it is changing so quickly, and the world today is a very different place where it was sort of a couple of years ago. So if you look at the way that construction projects work, it really has a life cycle, start and finish. It's a project that's started by a consortium. So they often use a lot of online tools and SaaS very quickly to service those needs. The problem with all this being is that all this unstructured information data during that time where it's kept, to try and adhere to policies, as I see it, is a huge challenge, not by having a sort of mature IT practice. So whilst bear in mind the challenge that you're trying to service a life cycle need of the construction project in a very short time without having large mature teams to support security. Whereas if it's an internal organization that has an IT project, they normally have teams who support that on a permanent and ongoing basis. So that's probably one of the big things I see as becomes an issue. So look, we're seeing benefits to construction organizations. Typically teams bid on projects and the projects goes into design implementation, and then each time that a new construction sort of tender goes out, another bids team has to rebid on that. The challenge has always been with projects that they're very bespoke by nature, so often it's different teams who work on different parts of either the tendering or actual delivery. So in that you lose a lot of information. So construction sites, as they've started to move towards more SaaS things, they've built up much larger repositories of electronic documents and assets like images or the PDF files around their designs. So we're seeing is a huge upswing around all that knowledge, insights to actually help teams write bids efficiently and also more effective in terms of estimating what the actual costs and timelines are on those projects.